Good morning, all of you. I, Dr. Badrinaran Mohapatra, Assistant Professor, Instrumentation Engineering Department of AISMS IOIT Pune. Today we'll be discuss some lessons on control system. So in this control system, we are discussing about time response analysis for control system. So what is the meaning and introduction of time response system? Then steady state error, then examples of some input test signal. So here we are discussing about step input signal. So basically in the time response analysis, the definition of time response of a system is the output response, which is the function of the time when the input excitation is applied. Time response of a control system consists of two parts, like transient response, another one is steady state response. So in mathematically we can represent as controlled output, that is C of t, which is equal to C of tt plus C SST. So where CTT is represented transient response, C SST is represented as steady state response. So response of a system will be divided as a steady state and you can say transient. So the definition of transient response is that it is a part of the response which goes to zero as the time increases, and mathematically it can be represented as a limit t tends to infinite, C of tt is equal to 0. The transient response may be exponential or oscillatory nature. Similarly, when we give the definition of steady state, it is the response of the total response after transient has died. So after transient, there will be shown as a steady state. So steady state error, that steady response of the output which doesn't match with the input of the system. So that will be denoted as steady state error. So as a example of a test signal, here we are considering a circuit like a step function or step input to a control system. So particularly in this case, we have shown in the left hand side, this is one circuit like it having some voltage source and there is one switch. So when there will be voltage will be applied, if the switch will be closed, then voltage will be supplied to 0.1. So maybe it will be 1 volt or 2 volt. So accordingly the output of that step function which will be fixed as for 1 or 2 voltage like this. So if you will be represent that in the mathematical form, that voltage V of t equal to 0 when it will be minus infinite to 0, in between that value will be t. But when the switch will be closed, so that time that voltage t is equal to k, that k value may be vary from 1 to 3 like this. Combining the above two equations, which will be generated V of t equal to 0 and k, and it is all with respect to the time. So the unit step function which will be denoted as u of t, which will be 0 when t less than equal to 0, but it will be 1 when it will be 0 less than equal to t. So in this lecture we have discussed about time response analysis, about transient analysis and steady state analysis. Like after transient response, only that steady state input will be there. And basic we are discussing about unit step test signal, how these equations will be governing from one electrical circuit. So that we have discussed. Thank you.